so excited to go into this next sign. Shall we, people? We're on sign number 6. Let's see. Ooh, there it is. And Pisces. Oh. Wow. Pisces. Weirdly enough, I don't know if this is her. I'm sure it's like some sort of memoir about Viola Davis. But finding me was, I just had to move this book like off to my table to make some space. So perhaps in this message, Pisces, we're going to be really centering the journey that in the last 6 months you've gone on to really come back and re-find yourself. And perhaps there was some space that you needed to clear up in order to do that. So let's see what Pisces is making space for in order to find themselves. Find the you that you are. Let's see. OMG. Okay, wow. So, Pisces, I'm going to talk to you like you're the masters of the zodiac and like you have all of the elements of our collective in your energy to make up your energy, because only you as Pisces are going to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So it has to do with, and again, Saturn and Pisces really giving a very simple conversation of how to make our dreams a reality, how to make the visions that we have of our life a real phenomena for us. How can we materialize that which we believe ourselves to be? So we start off in your current position is, I believe right now you're currently something, so there's something that has just happened, a transition, if you will, that has just happened in the realm of your material. So we're talking about pentacles, so we're talking about your physical reality, right? But there is a transformation or a sequence of events that look a little bit like this for you, Pisces. It went from the awareness of needing to get secure, meaning you needed to build your foundation, right? And so I believe that there was something that Pisces was trying to initiate based on the foundation that they've already created for themselves. And it looks as though they learned through the lesson of advancing and adding an Ace of Pentacles, which then somehow locked Pisces out of the very thing that was making them Pisces, and then ends on how we're focusing on the individual acquisition of the pentacle. Because I think with the age of Pisces dying out, the way that a Pisces energy is going to really successfully acclimate to the kind of climate that an air age would give versus a water age. And so I think what Pisces was thinking, the methodology here is like, these are both big picture, like it's grouping, right? It's about, because the Four of Pentacles is when you get the fourth pentacle, right? It is that one moment. So it is about how the acquisition of the singular now places you on a ladder of things that you've done. Same with the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is an offer, technically. These suits are always the addition of another pentacle. So even, but the thing that we focus on in the imagery as a message is about what having all of those things is. I think Pisces is needing to refine it back down to the POV of gratitude, of what is the value of receiving one pentacle, one opportunity. When we always take a view of ourselves and our lives as the sum of all the things we've ever done, I think because being Pisces inherently and really governing and being the leaders of the last age of growth and evolution for humanity, I think you are going to see that the age of the Aquarian has, and this eclipse and what it's removing is that, like, it's not about everything you've always done. And I think Pisces were trying to make sense of themselves by including every version of them they've ever been, every part of them. I think you guys were moving from a place of trying to make the story or the narrative include all of the parts. And it was affecting the step-by-step decision making. You get what I'm saying? And because we really want to help you get to that full mastery, full manifestation of a lot of things. And if we really look at it here, we have 10 Pentacles. So I also think for Pisces, this is about the arrangement of your 10 Pentacles. I think Pisces has its 10 Pentacles split up amongst things right now that are divvying up maybe the power that you might actually possess. Like, I think Pisces doesn't realize, I'm just getting this energy of like, Pisces, you were the blueprint. You've already achieved it. You already have 10 pentacles. But I think there's something about, I think what this eclipse is doing for you in terms of what you planted 6 months ago when we're going on finding yourself. This is like, Pisces is putting themselves on a journey of self-discovery when they already knew what was going on. So let's see how this conversation plays out. I just feel like this energy of diminishing your wealth or like spreading yourself too thin. Again, the shadow card came out. So needing to reconnect with self again in order to understand to not have to, because it's very Age of Pisces ideals, right? When we, or even like a Capricorn ideal where it's like, we're going to divide and conquer. And so I think that, you know, when it comes to our wealth and our sense of internal abundance and our ability to generate abundance, it looks like we're going to be addressing in this reading the ways that like all of these things make up who you are, but they also take and require your precious resources from you. So maybe this is about the decisions that we're making, the ways that how much of like maybe you hate that 4 of your pentacles have to go towards your foundation and the other 5 got to go to something you can't even access. Like you can't even get that. Like there's a portion of your income that you got to make just to give to something else. And then it's like, and I'm only left with 1 of it. It's just like, I feel like thank you, Spirit. Pisces is coming from a place of like, how is it that I have the 10 pentacles and I only feel like I have access to 1? Let's get into this, Pisces. Like, that's what I'm feeling. Finding me started, this journey that you went on to find yourself started by you trying to take a genuine assessment of, I have done and created so much for myself, but it feels like I leave such a small percentage of what I'm making to myself. It feels like this pays for basic necessities, this pays for who I owe and what I got to keep going, and this is just the expense to run it, and so I don't even get to enjoy that. And then this is all I get is my Ace of Pentacles. So let's see. 9 of Swords. Yeah, I think, you know, of course, and like I said, for our Pisces collective, this is, you know, spiritual evolution. But I think one of the things that I also feel like came up with what the message is here for Pisces was also apparent in the Virgo message, right? When we talk about the ideas of procrastination, like the ideas of like what happens, like what needs to be addressed. And because I'm seeing such a difference in elementals, like your current state is all about this physical reality and how much energy it takes to allocate and keep up with all the things you have physically right now, Pisces. So I'm getting a very tethered experience in the current experience, but it feels like your spirit is calling you to a higher, like, I'm feeling like the Pisces collective is keeping themselves at a vibration that is not connecting with how high the ascension is trying to take them, right? So this is like, because I also get an energy, and this is, please excuse me, this is coming out, but it's like, I'm getting like, oh my God, like the love of my life just came up to me, but I don't have the space for it. What the fuck? That's what I'm getting. And it's crazy because it comes from you. It looks like you're the person who's generated 10 full fucking pentacles, but it has to do with what our motivations are, what are at the center of these things. Because if we're as Pisces thinking our job is just to do this, do that, and not actually about like what's meant for us, right? Who are we? And perhaps this also, I feel like a lot of Pisces had mastery over their energy and manifesting specifically, because the Age of Pisces really would have supported you to manifest. So it seems like Pisces is also like, you're going to be the one to be telling people like, pipe down on the manifestation, because there's nothing worse than being really good at manifesting things that you are not conscious of yet. You get what I'm saying? I think Pisces is the only ones who could teach us what it was like to have it all before you even knew that you were going to have it all. I feel like that is like the battle cry of Pisces right now. It's like, I wish I had time to find me before the bag found me. Straight up. Right? Because the Knight of Cups is like, oh, there's all these impulses that you're seeing externally, but you cannot shake this impenetrable feeling that in terms of your spiritual health, oh my God, it may not have been such a good thing that I popped out like this, that I manifested so physically, that I tethered myself so physically to a narrative when I may have had a lot of spiritual things that could have really led me And I think this has to do with like how free you feel to be guided to go where you want to go and explore next, because I feel like you feel very sedimentarily connected to the responsibilities you have to maintain and uphold, et cetera, et cetera. Exactly. I'm also getting that, again, when this came, when you realize you can independently manifest, right? I think the thing is even whenever that was for you, and I'm sure that for you, Pisces, it felt premature. It felt like, I'm still doing this before other bitches can do it. Like, I'm still young doing this. I'm still out here spiritually young, physically young, whatever the case may be. But I think you're going back to realize the thing that gave you this ability to manifest was who you were associated. Like, what was on your path. You coming into people, energies, places that were on your path. Excuse me, Pisces, I was just checking the connection. But people that were on your path, people that were meant to be around you, were the ones who were able to help affect this type of stability. So when you started to generate that, I think we'll see how the rest of this plays out. But it looks like there was in the recent past, you were able to get this, but I think Pisces might have gotten trapped into something that tricked them into, yeah, we'll give you the Nine of Pentacles, but if you invest in this, you eventually will have to split all that 9 Pentacles up over, this has to protect your boundaries. This is what it takes to stay alive. This is what you owe to keep maintaining the things you want. And this is the only free money you have, right? And so I think Pisces is realizing and is going to tell people, and Willie will be that sort of the troll on the bridge. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you some awareness that if you want to call in these things, like maybe consider a fuller picture of your growth and evolution spiritually and non-physical ways. Like, what about the things, because I feel like mental health is a big thing here. So these are all things that are invisible, things that people can't see. So if you keep making a life that is extremely visible and is extremely physical and is extremely like, this is what I got to take care of, but then you've got all these invisible things that are overdue in terms of tending to them. Do you know how disconnected and despondent your reality is going to feel? Because it's going to feel like the people don't know how to support you, right? And again, I think this is on your ass because your Pisces is finally starting to see the things that actually feel like union to them. There is a version of them that is at peace and is completely in union, meaning like Pisces is no longer making a public persona and a private persona. When you go on this journey to find yourself, I do believe it's because of this motivation to be at one with yourself, to not have this very big identity and being seen for this, but also be having this that doesn't get any acknowledgement or any watering. I'm hearing like nobody's like helping water or provide more calm, like maybe the energies that you're around. Again, it just feels like about manifesting. It feels like you, of course, you realize like I can manifest like out the wazoo, right? But if I want something that has to do with if I want my creative ability to come back into balance, if I want to really be able to partner in life, I've got to be able to blend. Both of those fishes have got to be able to make a rapport with one another. They can't just keep spinning around on each other, never connecting the dots about how they make up the whole picture. And it comes from, I think Pisces is about to take a route that has nothing to do with what they're doing. I think in order to find yourself, your next step, Pisces, is to completely take the drive, the car you've been in, and be like, I'm getting out of this car and I'm going on foot. Like the thing that is about to replenish you coming forward, the way to reconnect and to start creating things that feel good is to start following a feeling. Because I think Pisces was, again, with manifestation, there was a disconnect between how you felt about the things you were manifesting. And before you could develop a feeling about what you were able to fucking manifest, because like I said, you guys were early, you were doing it before everybody else could do it, right? And so nobody understands what it's like to be like a child star, or like what it's like to be like a child having to make fucking big decisions about like your future before you're even aware. And so I think you're going to be chasing things that feel good to you. You need to allow yourself, Pisces, to have people that feel good to be around, making relationships and connections that feel good to be around, that serve you, living a lifestyle, putting things into your body that feel good to you and aren't just about the attainment of the thing. And then all the while, because I'm getting all of these pentacles reverberate at night, they're a part of an identity that is not cohesive. And I think you are long overdue to give a more honest portrayal of yourself. Because if you just worry about what you physically can do and what people physically see you for, right? Because it's crazy that this much physical energy is coming in with Pisces, bro. Page of Pentacles turning in, because this is where you are right now. I think Pisces is also kind of dealing with what happens when new generations come in. Like, I think Pisces is dealing with, like, what happened? You are what we just did. We've already accomplished this. So I think the root of this reading is about what Pisces is already accomplished and what you have to embrace being a student again. Because I believe in the age of Pisces, you would have been at the top dog, but you've already made it to the top. So it's about Pisces setting their eyes on something new. And it looks like you haven't worked on how you feel about things, how giving feeling to the things that you've manifested. It looks like you've mastered a lot of things, right? Like you've mastered maybe the physical reality of the old world. But if the terrain is changing, if things are switching, if the element is changing, you need to be prepared and ready for that, because I feel like this is about the journey. I get that you once didn't have all of this and you worked to have the pentacles. But again, I just feel like the thing that's going to leave you in a Nine of Swords, which is just this sort of negativity or this sort of spiritual deficit, is the fact that it has to really all be a whole picture. It can't just be this sector of my life and this sector of my life and this sector of my life. It kind of reminds me of like Western medicine when it comes to when we have a symptom-based diagnosis. Like people don't think that something is wrong until something hurts, right? Versus like the quality of something can be deteriorating before the point of breaking, right? And so when we make systems surrounding by that breaking point and not surrounding by like the reality of the condition, this is kind of that. And I think Pisces is karmically representing with honor, how to transition that, how to really own and govern that. Like, this is the reason why we should go on this journey to find me, because the pass off from Age of Pisces to Age of the Aquarian is a finding me journey. We found God in the Age of Pisces, but we're about to find ourselves in the Age of the Aquarian. And I feel like externally to you, there is this Six of Wands and this happiness. And so I feel like the beautiful thing that I'm seeing here is that Pisces comes into something inspiring. And I think that because you've been at the top so long, who inspires the people at the top? Who inspires the people who already have everything you could probably want physically? I think Pisces is well fed. I think this sucks because this is when you have criticisms of your life, but you're like extremely privileged to have all the things that you have because you don't want for anything. But yet you still need to worry about being inspired. You still need to be worried about like who's going to stimulate my brain. I get that I can stimulate everybody else, but who's going to help me grow? Who understands me, right? This is why this finding me journey for Pisces is everything right now, because it looks like you're seeing victory outside of you, and it's coming from people who have this emotional. You're inspired by this new wave, this new era. The Age of the Aquarian is the people who can self-sustain. They don't rely on an external god. They fucking look at the condition of their bodies, and we got to keep it up. If you want it to be at an optimal, there's still the circumstances you might be going under. So again, but it's going to rely, this is self-reliance. And I feel like Pisces is like turning their head for the first time, like, oh shit, that is inspiring. That is lit. That is cool. That is a movement. That is different than what I know. Cause it seems like Pisces came up in an era or a generation where the currency was different. So you got all this currency, but it's from a outdated world. It's from a collapsed, it's like having Chuck E. Cheese coins in your glove compartment. Like, what are you about to use those for? Like, you can't put no gas in with that. Like, and so I feel like Pisces is realizing that like there is this sweeping inspiration. And Pisces, you need to know you're the King of Pentacles. The right people, the leaders of this new world, are also looking at you because we need the leaders of our past. We need to know who used to inspire us in order to connect the dot to who's going to be inspired. A lot of you need to realize you inspire these people. Like these are the bitches that are your sons. It's like when your son grows up and becomes even larger than life. Like you were a great person, but they were a great person. You know what I mean? So it's like this is the fears though, is that letting God move you forward into, this new spirituality, into maintaining your hierophant, into claiming your spiritual position, right? And again, it's going to ask you to address all the ways that the old currency, the reason it's changing and you're still alive for the change is because it wasn't going to serve your highest good past this point either. So when you address that, you really can let that go. And then it's going to be like, where did Pisces go? Wait, Pisces isn't trying to fuck around anymore. Where the fuck did Pisces go? I'm going to tell you where Pisces went. They're following the fucking call of their feeling. They're acknowledging how they feel. Pisces is not down and out. You're nowhere near ready to be done. That is one thing I am realizing with Pisces here is that you're nowhere near ready to call it quits. What so fucking ever. Because Pisces is about to go into a world where if I have it all physically, the one thing I should be doing is finding myself and filling and attaching emotions to things that I want. This is company you want to keep. I don't think you, again, just thinking about your life as like, oh, I manifested all of this lump sum, so I just got to start. This is like people who like make money to like, and then just based on how much money they have, that's when they decide what they're going to spend. This is the opposite. This is developing a passion that requires a level of abundance to maintain, but not going the other way around. This isn't letting the abundance define what you pursue. This is pursuing what you want and knowing the abundance will come, Pisces. This is huge. This is huge for you, Pisces. If there's nothing else you take away from this reading, I mean, we got straight to the point with Pisces. You are rebuilding the pyramids in your world. From letting how much money you're able to aggregate, how much wellness, how much abundance physically, how much material you can have, who you can be associated, instead of letting that and the attainment of that decide what you're going to do moving forward and who you can hang out with and what you can feel. You are moving from your feeling space first and seeing what kind of abundance that brings you. And it's completely different than what it was, but I believe it's what's going to help you with this 9 of Swords reverse, where you just feel like you have not been anywhere near as spirited as you believe you're supposed to be as a fucking Pisces. You have the spirit of the entire zodiac in your shit, right? Like, so we need to be able to acknowledge our spiritual health as well. And the way to get to that is to really surrender into facing the fact that, well, if you only associate yourself with the things that you think this bracket brings you instead of what you authentically want to be relating to in any moment, that's the reason for the 8 of Cups. That's the reason why you always need somebody to fill you up. But Pisces, what about the company you can keep that you have an Ace of Cups that's being bestowed to you by the divine. Your Ace of Cups, your emotional renewal. Again, that inspiration that says like, how this makes me feel something again. I feel like Pisces was making a big life, a lot of karma, but wasn't really feeling anything, like meaning a lot, being responsible for whole people's worlds, being responsible for certain foundations. You're responsible for some big things. Like I'm seeing a Pisces collective has a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. So again, if you owe it to anybody for like building the last structures, like help us evolve, evolve with us, help us grow the feeling that we're supposed to have about the things that we're creating in life so that we can move forward and know that we have to create from how we feel about ourselves and our lives first. And from there, everything else comes. Whether you have a craft or you're known or you have a job or an art that you do, or you have a family you're building, or you have a home or a community, or whatever the case may be, you've got to feel good about the things that you are doing in order for all 10 of these pentacles to actually mean anything. Because like, what does it mean? You got 10 pentacles and you definitely are taking care of a bunch of shit, but that's how it's always felt for Pisces. And I get that the currency is changing rapidly, but just know this multiplies. When you start finding your tribe, when you start attracting in the people who feel the same way about life as you do, everything changes. This mismatch and this, I hang out with these people to get this out of life, and I hang out with this to get this, and I go to my family for this. There's no more of having to go and get your shit and your filler-upper. You are now 4 of Wands, 2244. You are fully in union with yourself and in union with both fishes, and remembering that those both fishes are a family to the whole. And their individual walks are never separate. Even if one fish likes to have one type of eating habit and swimming habit, so does the other. And so I really am excited for Pisces, because I believe that, when you're looking at how much of this physical abundance is just about maintaining shit and not really about how making you feel anything, I think you'll really start that spiritual reconnection, and you really will begin to become someone who is like worried and concerned about how it fucking feels to have the things you want. So love you, Pisces. This is a huge moon for you. I like I said, I think people are going to physically see you change trajectories. Like you are this might look like some people might be thinking you're crazy because you're abandoning physicality, which we know the bitches in the Matrix who are asleep are gonna be like, what? She's sacrificing this, and this because the feeling is that good. And I'm here to reinforce that if the feeling feels that good, babe, chase it. Chase it, because it's better than you already have the world. What do you have to lose? So, love it.